absolutely a correlation between how we live our lives and how we are able to communicate and connect with our horses. And that part of giving too much and taking too much is part of that. You know, we have become takers, but this is not our nature. Correct. The principle of giving and receiving only what we authentically possess is, but we need to keep a balance. So I'm always talking to you about balance, and it's important in this aspect as well. You know, I talk about, and we've spoken about, the fact that you cannot pour from an empty cup in our own lives, in every aspect of our life. And therefore, we cannot expect to cultivate fulfilling connections with our horses if we are not grounded and balanced emotionally, mentally, and physically, and that our well-being is holistic. It is all encompassing. Correct. Yes. Well, if we're going to be considering our horses in this equation and offering them the maximum, we have to offer ourselves the maximum. And what I mean by this is that let's break it down into the three points that I talk about within our sessions, which is the emotional, mental, and physical balance. So emotionally, I think it's vital to acknowledge our own feelings before attempting to connect with others, whether that is a human or a horse. I think if we can understand and process our emotions, we can approach these interactions with our horses from a place of honesty, authenticity, and empathy. So, for example, if we are feeling anxious or stressed, I think it's crucial to acknowledge these emotions before engaging with our horses. I think they would appreciate that, right? Yes, it is the awareness of their perception of us, and that will grow. That will become part of our growth cycle within our relationships. Well, mentally, I think mentally we must cultivate a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. If we look around us, we're pretty fortunate, and we can approach our interactions with our horses from a mindset of abundance. If we approach it with a feeling of inadequacy or unworthiness, we inadvertently impose those limitations on the depths of our connections, because we are limiting ourselves. And by fostering a mindset of abundance and embracing our strengths, while acknowledging that we have areas of growth to face, those challenges, we open ourselves to deeper levels of understanding and partnership, right? Physically, it's for me, it is something that is really important, because we often approach our conversations, our dialogues, our interactions with our horses and, you know, with other people on a physical basis, but particularly with our horses, it is physically. And I think it's essential to maintain a healthy relationship that we honor boundaries. We honor the boundaries that our physical abilities in that moment are able to, that we're able to compute, that we're able to digest, that we're able to process. So just as we wouldn't push ourselves beyond our physical limits in our daily lives, we must respect our body's signals, right, when we're working with our horses. We have to be attuned. We have to be attuned emotionally, physically, and mentally. But physically attuned means understanding our bodies and how they impact our horses' bodies. We have to be attuned. We have to be attuned emotionally, physically, and mentally. But physically attuned means understanding our bodies and how they impact our horses' bodies. And this includes knowing when to rest. And I think that's something really important. We don't rest enough. We don't, we have these tick boxes of doing something with our horses, and then, we must now let them rest and digest. And we tick that box as well. But at the same time, are we resting and digesting? Or are we thinking about the next thing that we're going to do? You know, the other day when we were working on that dialogue with your mare, she was having that moment of rest and digest and processing. And we spoke, didn't we, that I could see that you were in a process of thinking about the next step. So you weren't resting, you weren't digesting. And I think that is where we need to afford ourselves that luxury of resting. So when we set boundaries to ensure safety and well-being, we are taking self-care physically into account. And, you know, in essence, the principle of giving and receiving authentically, only what we authentically possess emotionally, mentally and physically can serve us as a guide both in our professional, personal and our relationships and growth in general with our horses, right? So the foundation for meaningful connections is built on trust, awareness, respect, although that's not a word I often use, as you know. But we have to have awareness for ourselves and respect ourselves at the same time as our horses and other beings in our lives. In honouring ourselves, we honour our horses. It's as simple as that. Creating space for mutual growth and understanding and harmony is a boundary that we can give ourselves and our horses. So I want you to please understand that the importance of our well-being and the understanding and the awareness of what we can give in any moment, because some days it will be more, some days it will be less, mentally, emotionally and physically, is an important aspect of understanding our nature and therefore understanding your horse's nature. And you know that the principles of ReWild Your Horse Spirit is part of understanding, part of that is understanding our natures, ours and our horses. Okay, so go and rest, go and digest, and we'll speak soon. Okay, take care for now. Bye.